Hi there guys, Jean-El here for the DNA Superheroes, and in this video today we specifically want to reveal to you guys a concept which we call within the DNA Superhero Academy called lift and thrust. Now this is a very important concept because a lot of people, their dreams are grounded. It never takes off. And so what you want in life is that your dream must take off. I remember when I started pursuing my dream, I saw it through the gift of vision. I had brief glimpses of it and I knew I had to pursue it. But there were certain things not in place and it felt like I didn't quite have a good flight plan. You know, if you want to go somewhere, you need a flight plan. And I'm talking specifically in the area of aviation, that you need a flight plan and you have clear direction between two coordinates where you want to go. And so what is so important is what we call lift and thrust. Now, when we talk about DNA superheroes, we talk about people who are super. You have super abilities, you have gifts, you have untapped potential, you have optimum human performance, you have passion. There's so many things on the inside of you. There are this capacity on the inside of you that you know there's more for your life and that you must release it. And so to understand lift and thrust is the following, is that there's this natural world, and in the natural world certain things just reach a certain speed, and we know the land speed records. It's natural. No matter what you do, you can get rocket powered vehicles. Those vehicles reach a maximum of 1,000 kilometers, or I know they're busy now stretching it beyond 1,000, 2,300 and 1,400 kilometers an hour. But it's land-based. Where you want to go for your dreams, guys, is you want your dreams to take off. And for your dreams to take off, you must take off. And where must you take off? You must take off on the inside. Because you cannot travel on the inside. You cannot take off on the inside, become elevated in the inner world, and stand still in the outer world. In other words, what happens on the inside will have a direct manifestation and a direct result in your environment, in your physical world. And we call this lift and thrust. Now this is something that's well known in the world of aviation, is that an aircraft operates by lift and thrust. As long as these two things are present with an aircraft, it can take off, it stands on a runway and then it takes off and it gains momentum, and momentum, it has thrust. And the greater the thrust, suddenly something happens. So something supernatural takes place. And that is around the wings. There's a high pressure system and a low pressure system. And where that pressure is transferred, and as it's transferred, it actually takes that plane that weighs thousands and thousands of kilograms, and the rules change. And the moment the rules change, that airplane takes off. And suddenly it's bound by a different law. It's bound by the law of lift. And as long as it's respecting the law of lift, as long as that air pressure system is around the wings, which transfers the energy, as long as it engages in that, it has lift. And it has forward momentum, it has lift and thrust. Then it can climb to a certain altitude. And this is the difference. The moment you engage in an aircraft, you cover space and time in a shorter distance. You can never get from one distance to another by being land-based in such a short time as taking an aircraft. Now, why is this important? Because your inner world is supposed to engage with lift and thrust. You are supposed to fly high in your inner world, at that place where you see your dreams, live your dreams, experience the emotions of your dreams, see the vision, but you're living in reality, in a practical reality, and you walk out that vision. Now, why is this so important? If you are purely earthbound on the inside, you have the following. You have weight and drag. Now, these are the four areas within aviation which a pilot will refer to. They talk about lift and thrust, and then weight and drag. This is a big problem. The moment you are airborne and you have weight, you're actually killing your momentum, you're killing your thrust. And the next thing is you get nose down. Too many people have a nose down altitude. And this is weight. What is weight? Weight is also on the inner world. This is mental anxiety and worry and emotional instability and all the lower forms of frequency, of emotional frequencies that they hold on to. The worries of this world and the worries of this, and I must do this, and it's just, and then the worst is, what people do is they verbalize their feelings. Your feelings mean nothing. Your feelings is supposed to be, if it's negative or at a very low level of consciousness. And what do I mean by a low level of consciousness? This is thinking thoughts that's connected to emotions, that's on a low frequency. It will bring your nose down, it will bring your altitude down, and you will head for a crash. So it's very, very important that you do not engage with emotional frequencies, which is harmful for your life. That you do not engage in toxic emotions. People with toxic emotions, just avoid them. They will kill your lift and your thrust. Now, what is drag? Drag is what is behind you. Now, the moment you get a lot of drag in an airplane as well, you destroy the altitude and you're heading for a crash. Drag is what's behind you. Let me tell you, you can never pursue what's in front of you until you forget what's behind you. We all have things in our past, guys. We all have things that we have done, decisions we have made, which we thought at that moment, this is a wonderful decision. And then later on, we look back and we go back and we go, why was I so stupid? But here's the problem. A lot of people get stuck in the past. And if you get stuck in the past, you have a lot of drag on your life. You never get off the ground. Your dreams don't get off the ground. Your purposes don't get off the ground. You put a lid on your potential. You actually self-destruct if you engage in weight and in drag. Let me tell you, this environment that we live in, this world, and with all its pressures, there will always be pressure. There will always be obstacles. But if you concentrate in your inner world upon lift and thrust and understand how to use these elements in your inner world, because it's connected to your emotions, it's connected to your thought life, what happens on the inner world will change the outer world. You will see resources in your environment. You will come up with innovative solutions, practical solutions. If you engage in lift and in thrust, you will gain momentum. And you know what's a wonderful thing about this? When you reach a certain altitude, a plane normally, it just glides. It uses minimum resources. And so the greatest struggle with lift and thrust is to get to a cruising altitude. Once you hit the cruising altitude and you know exactly where you're going, there's something that comes to your life. It's called effortless effort. Things just start to flow. Things start to work. And that's why this law in the Superhero Academy is so important, that everyone must understand, but not just understand what it is and why it's so important, but we know how to do the how. We know how to show you how to engage in it in a very practical sense. So I thought today, while I was thinking about sharing with you guys, is to really open up, lift and thrust to you. Do not engage in weight and drag. Forget what's behind you. Forget the toxic emotions, but focus on what gives momentum and forward motion. This is Jean-Nel for the DNA Superheroes. And today it was lift and thrust. It's time to hero up.